The rain hammered against the windows of our cozy Victorian house in Charleston, South Carolina, mirroring the storm brewing inside me. My name is Silas, and until a few weeks ago I thought I had it all: a fulfilling career as a marine biologist, a beautiful home, and a loving wife, Juniper. We'd been married for 15 years, a milestone we celebrated with a romantic getaway to the Outer Banks. Or so I thought. Juniper worked as a real estate agent, a profession that demanded long hours and constant networking. I never minded. I trusted her implicitly. I was usually submerged, sometimes literally, in my research, studying the migratory patterns of sea turtles. Our lives were busy, but we always made time for each other, or so I believed. The first crack in our seemingly perfect facade appeared innocently enough. Juniper started receiving late-night texts. When I asked who was messaging her at such odd hours, she'd brush it off. "Just a client," she'd say, her voice a little too casual, her eyes darting away from mine. I dismissed my growing unease, attributing it to stress. After all, the housing market was booming and she was under a lot of pressure to close deals. Then came the business trips. Juniper had always traveled for work, attending conferences and meeting with potential investors. But these trips felt different. They were more frequent, longer, and shrouded in a veil of secrecy. She became vague about her itinerary, evasive when I asked about the people she was meeting. One evening, as she packed for a 3-day conference in Atlanta, I noticed a new perfume on her dresser. It wasn't one I'd bought her, and when I inquired, she claimed it was a sample she'd received from a client. My suspicions grew stronger, gnawing at me like a relentless tide. I started paying closer attention to Juniper's phone. I knew it was wrong, a violation of her privacy, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly amiss. One morning, while Juniper was in the shower, her phone buzzed with a notification. It was an email from an unknown address. Driven by a desperate need to know the truth, I unlocked her phone using the passcode I knew by heart and opened the email. The subject line was simple: "Thinking of you." The message was short, but its impact was devastating. "Last night was incredible. Can't wait to see you again soon." K. My heart pounded in my chest, a deafening drumbeat of dread. K. Who was K? My mind raced, trying to make sense of what I was reading. Juniper was having an affair. The realization hit me like a tidal wave, washing away years of trust and happiness. I felt sick, betrayed, utterly and completely devastated. I wanted to scream, to confront Juniper immediately, but I knew I needed to gather more evidence. I couldn't rely on a single email. I needed to know the full extent of her betrayal. Over the next few days, I became a shadow, secretly monitoring Juniper's phone and computer activity. I installed a keystroke logger on her laptop, a decision that felt both invasive and necessary. The evidence I unearthed was damning. Emails, text messages, photos, a digital trail of deceit that painted a clear and horrifying picture. K was Kendrick, a wealthy developer Juniper had met at a real estate conference in Miami several months ago. Their affair had been ongoing ever since, fueled by lust and opportunity. They met in hotels, shared intimate dinners, and exchanged countless messages filled with explicit details. One particular email sent a shard of ice through my veins. In it, Juniper wrote to Kendrick about our marriage, describing me as boring and predictable. She complained about my long hours, my passion for marine biology, and my lack of ambition. She painted a picture of a man I didn't recognize, a man she clearly despised. The pain was unbearable. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of betrayal, gasping for air that never came. How could she do this to me? How could she lie to me for so long, pretending to be someone she wasn't? I had loved her with all my heart, given her everything she ever wanted, and she had repaid me with deceit and infidelity. The day Juniper returned from her Atlanta conference, I was waiting for her. I had printed out all the evidence I had gathered, neatly organized in a folder. As she walked through the door, her face flushed with excitement, I held up the folder. "We need to talk," I said, my voice cold and steady. She looked at the folder, her eyes widening in alarm. "What is this?" she asked, her voice trembling. "This," I said, "is the end of our marriage." I laid out the evidence, one piece at a time, watching as her face drained of color. She tried to deny it at first, claiming the emails were fake, the photos were doctored. But the evidence was overwhelming, undeniable. Finally, she broke down, confessing everything. She admitted to the affair with Kendrick, to the lies and deceit, to the contempt she had harbored for me. She claimed she was unhappy, that she felt trapped in our marriage, that she needed excitement and adventure. Her excuses were pathetic, hollow, and did nothing to ease the pain. I filed for divorce the next day. The process was messy and acrimonious. Juniper fought me on everything, trying to minimize her culpability and maximize her financial gain. She even tried to turn our friends and family against me, spreading lies and rumors about my supposed shortcomings. But the truth eventually prevailed. The evidence was on my side, and the judge ruled in my favor. As I navigated the wreckage of my shattered marriage, I found solace in my work. I threw myself into my research, spending countless hours at the marine biology lab, studying the resilience of sea turtles. Their ability to adapt and survive against all odds inspired me to do the same. One evening, while reviewing some research data, I stumbled upon a connection between Kendrick's development company and a series of illegal coastal dredging operations. Kendrick was destroying vital sea turtle nesting grounds in order to build luxury condos. The realization filled me with a sense of righteous anger. Juniper's lover was not only a cheat but an environmental criminal. I contacted the authorities, providing them with the evidence I had gathered. They launched an investigation, and within weeks, Kendrick was arrested and charged with multiple environmental violations. His development company was fined millions of dollars and his reputation was ruined. Witnessing Kendrick's downfall brought me a sense of satisfaction, but it didn't heal the wounds of Juniper's betrayal. The pain was still there, a constant reminder of the love I had lost, but I refused to let it define me. I decided to focus on the future, on building a new life for myself, one filled with purpose and meaning. I started volunteering at a local animal shelter, caring for abandoned and neglected animals. I reconnected with old friends, rekindling relationships that had been neglected during my marriage. I even started taking salsa dancing lessons, something Juniper had always discouraged. One night at a salsa dance class, I met a woman named Serafina. She was vibrant, intelligent, and compassionate, with a passion for life that was infectious. We started talking, and I found myself drawn to her warmth and genuine kindness. She listened patiently as I shared my story, offering words of comfort and support without judgment. Over time, Serafina and I grew closer. We shared our hopes and dreams, our fears and vulnerabilities. I found myself falling in love again, cautiously, tentatively, but with a growing sense of hope. Serafina helped me to heal, to trust again, to believe in the possibility of a happy future. I realized that Juniper's betrayal, while devastating, had ultimately led me to a place where I could truly be myself, surrounded by love and support. Juniper, on the other hand, did not fare so well. After the divorce, she lost her job and her reputation. Kendrick abandoned her, leaving her alone and penniless. She tried to reach out to me, begging for forgiveness, but I couldn't bring myself to offer it. The pain she had inflicted was too deep, the betrayal too profound. I wished her no ill will, but I couldn't forgive her. In the end, I found peace and happiness, not in revenge, but in moving forward. I learned that betrayal can be a catalyst for growth, a painful but necessary step towards a brighter future. And as I stood on the beach, watching the sea turtles return to their nesting grounds, I knew that I too had found my way back home.